Hey guys, how's it going? It's Billy. Coming at you now with a little update, a little vinyl update video. Um, I just got back from a trip from Colorado, and prior to leaving for Colorado, I had posted a video, one of my other vinyl updates, and I had posted a couple Rat albums in there that I picked up, I believe at the St. Louis Record Show. I'm pretty sure that's where I ended up picking those up. Um, but it kind of dawned on me that I still needed Detonator, and I'd made a post out there to you guys, let you guys know that if anybody had it, feel free to let me know. I wasn't looking for a handout or a VCLT or anything like that. I was looking for a genuinely good copy to complete the Rat collection. And there may still be one more that I need. I'll have to double check and see. But if this doesn't complete it, it gets me really close. And I had a couple of you reach out. I appreciate that. But new viewer, new friend, may not be a new viewer, named Todd Guy, had reached out, and we kind of corresponded back and forth on Facebook Messenger. Super nice guy. And ended up working out a deal for it. I had a couple things that he was interested in, and he sent me the Rat and something extra. So I'll start off with that. Thank you, Todd, for making this happen. Here is Rat's Detonator. It is a BMG Record Club copy. Sounds great, by the way. Nice BG plus or better all the way around. Beautiful copy. Great to finally have this in the collection. Thank you, Todd, for making that happen. That was very, very kind of you to contact me and be willing to work out that trade. Also in the package was this. This is Lone Justice. Honestly, was not familiar, but looked them up, and apparently it's a Southern rock and country kind of group, and can't wait to give this one a spin because that one definitely made my ears perk up when I heard it was Southern rock and country. So definitely thank you for that. Todd obviously knows my taste very well, so thanks for making that happen, Todd. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the Blue Oyster Cult and other stuff that was sent your way as well. So as I said earlier, I got back. My wife and I went on a trip to Colorado. We ended up hitting Buena Vista, or Buena Vista, as apparently that's how the locals say it, I guess. Buena Vista. Did some whitewater rafting there. And ended up hitting Colorado Springs, Golden, Boulder, and Denver. Saw a show at Red Rocks, which was unbelievable. Red Rocks, the atmosphere there for a show is second to none. It's definitely a bucket list item that we were able to mark off. I'm glad. And believe it or not, my wife loved it so much that we're probably going to make it a regular trip. We love it out there. And so when next year's schedule comes out, or I mean, who's to say, we may not do it every year, but it's definitely going to be a regular trip that we will do. In addition to going to see the show at Red Rocks, she talked me into going out there the day before. So Friday morning, we got up bright and early and went to Red Rocks and worked out, which was great. I walked the steps or the seats or whatever. There's 70 rows, I believe. Averaged about 100 steps per row. So I got 7,000 steps in, which is probably 3 miles or so, 3 to 3.5 miles in an hour while she worked out doing a little bit more intense stuff. But I left that to her. And what's funny is our gym owner and trainer actually was there for the Cody show as well. So it was Cody Jinks and Mark Chestnut. Cody was unbelievable. Everything I could have hoped for and more. I've seen him on a couple other occasions, but this one was special for a guy who has never, to my knowledge, had one single played on major radio, major country radio. There were 10,000 people there or more. It was a sold-out show, and everybody was singing along to every song. It was a magical experience, something that I'm sure he was taken aback by, and he'll never forget as well. So it was great. But we did all the touristy things. We Like I said, we whitewater rafted, which as much as I pissed and moaned about not wanting to do all that stuff, that was probably one of the funner parts of the trip, was the whitewater rafting. We went to Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs. A gorgeous, gorgeous place. I mean, the views are unbelievable. I made the decision to leave my camera gear and anything work-related at home. So all the pictures that we have from the trip are just from, you know, our iPhone or whatever, but the cameras on those things are pretty good. So we were able to capture, but it would have been nice to have at least a small handheld camera just to capture some of the beauty and the landscapes that are out there. But anyway, I left everything that was work related at home. We wanted to just go and relax. We were there 5 days, and it ended up being a really nice trip. We hit a couple record stores at the wife's request. She actually was like, she planned them out. Like we'd be driving, and she's like, yeah, there's a record store here. You want to stop? There's one coming up in this city or whatever. And so we would just swing by and check it out. The first record store we ended up hitting was in, where was it at? I have these set aside here. Here we go. So it was in Colorado Springs, and the first store that I went to was Earth Pig Music and Smoke Shop. There we go. So that's kind of cool. Only in Colorado, right? Maybe here in Illinois after January. Record store / smoke shop. Be on the lookout for that. But anyway, Earth Pig Music and Smoke Shop. Been around since 1992. Been selling vinyl and CDs and all that stuff since '92. Really talkative, friendly guy. But he had really good selection, well curated, tons of MoFi and audiophile stuff, which I love just sitting there looking through that stuff. But you know, as you guys know, all those 90s pressings, those MoFi 90s pressings are ridiculous. I mean, through the roof expensive. And I was just in awe of seeing what he had. I mean, he probably had 100, easily 100, just MoFi. Then he also had the CBS series, the Super Disc series. He had some really cool stuff. So Brandon, I may give you, well, here you go. There's the information if you want it. You can look him up and see. He might sell online. You never know. But he did have some really cool stuff on the wall, and I ended up walking away with a couple. First thing I'm going to show you is actually first thing I saw when I walked in on the back wall was an original pressing 1986 Metallica Master of Puppets. I was just curious, obviously, whenever you see something like that on the wall, A, what the price was, B, what the condition was, and C, what pressing it was. So the price was right for any of the pressings. I think this was $58. The condition is VG Plus all the way around, and it ended up being a Columbia House club pressing, which is one that I did not have. So I ended up walking home with that, and was very happy and pleased with that. So that was my first purchase. Set this down here, and then I did a little bit of digging in the same store, and he had a pretty respectable country section. I'd say maybe 400 or 500 country records, and I ended up finding and walking away with Keith Whitley, LA to Miami. This is his, I believe this is his first major label release, you know, with Miami, Hard Livin', 10 Feet Away, Nobody in His Right Mind Would Have Left Her, which of course was made famous later by George Strait, and Homecoming 63. One of my absolute all-time favorite country artists, and a great, highly underrated album, in really beautiful condition aside from the promo cutout. Just a great copy. He had 22 on it, which I would have been more than happy to pay. He ended up letting me have this for $18 since I bought the Metallica as well. So I bought those two things at what was it called? Earth Pig Music in Colorado Springs. Great store. If you're ever in the Colorado Springs area, do yourself a favor, stop in. Really nice guy, good store. Second store we hit was, I had a feeling it was going to be very odd, very weird, yet very cool at the same time. So I looked it up, and all the Yelp reviews and the Google search came back. Chain Reaction Records. Not only is it Chain Reaction Records, it's Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards. Um, their motto is "Stay Punk, Stay Metal, Stay Rad." So, and this is in Lakewood, Colorado. So we had to make a trip there. We were driving by. Uh, we just definitely had to stop by there. I kind of figured that I wouldn't get anything there, but I definitely wanted to see it, and I'm really glad I stopped by. It was your typical what you would think of a punk, hardcore metal record store slash skate store. Um, the guy was super nice, though, a younger kid behind the counter, and they had so much metal and punk that I wasn't even. I couldn't tell you what it was. I mean, such obscure underground stuff. Really, really cool if that was the stuff you were into. Unfortunately, I wasn't looking for that kind of stuff. I was looking for more mainstream type stuff, more that I happened to be into, and he was cool with that. He just and not that they didn't have it, but I had all the stuff that I was looking for more obscure stuff, like maybe even some Halloween stuff that I didn't have, or the harder to find stuff that you don't see every day in the stores. As far as mainstream stuff, not that more underground type stuff. They did have a lot of new pressings as well, as far as your Metallica, your Pantera, your Motley Crue, all that sort of stuff. AC/DC, Black Sabbath. They had plenty of that stuff, but not original pressings. Anyway, as I was digging through their new arrivals bin. This was oddly out of place, and I even told the guy when I walked up to pay for it. It's a 2009 pressing of Ryan Bingham and the Dead Horses. This is Roadhouse Sun, and this is unbelievably hard to find album. And I was just blown away that number one, I found it. Number two, I found it in the place I found it at, in of all places, a punk metal and skate shop. So he had, I think he had either $15 or $16 on this. It's a double LP from, like I said, from pressed in 2009. Very, very hard to find. It's a highly sought after record. I imagine if I had found this in any other shops, it would have been 3 times the price, easy. These things are, like I said, they're not cheap. They're not easy to find. So when I walked up to the counter, I even told the guy, "Well, this is oddly out of place." He's like, "Yeah, absolutely." He said it came in with a collection that they bought. But yeah, definitely not the kind of stuff that they carry there. But I am so glad I went there and stumbled across this Ryan Bingham Dead Horses Roadhouse Sun. That was the only thing I ended up getting at Chain Reactions Records in Lakewood. Then we did more things. We went out, had a nice dinner. Then the next day we headed to Golden, and in Golden they have a bunch of I can't remember if it was Golden or Boulder, but there were a bunch of like antique type shops, and in one of the shops, well, a handful of the shops, there were records, and my wife and I were just looking through at the antiques, and I ended up stumbling across a record booth or two that had some records in there, and ended up walking away with this little gem. The Allman Brothers Band out of Wild South. This is an original first pressing on Atco, was on the yellow label. Of course, it does have some wear at the top, and somebody has scribbled out their name, but the vinyl inside was just gorgeous. I was not going to pass this up for $5. Had to grab this, and like I said, wasn't planning on buying anything at the little antique store, but ended up picking this one up, and so glad I did. $5. Wasn't going to leave it there. I don't even remember the name of it was either Golden or Boulder. Then our last stop was in Denver. Everybody and their brother that I've talked to said you have to stop by Waxtrax Records in Denver. They've been around forever, curated well, great stuff, great people. If you don't find something at Waxtrax, you need to check your pulse. So we went in there on the last day we were in town, so it would have been Saturday, because we flew out Sunday. The concert was Saturday night. We got out after the concert, went to bed, got up early, flew home Sunday morning. So this was Saturday. We ended up stopping in Waxtrax, and just really impressed by their selection of new and used. They had a great mixture of new and used. Found some 90s country pressings. This was still sealed, Joe Diffie, regular Joe, and the price on these was just unbelievable. This was $8, I believe. Less than $10 on this, so I was stoked. I mean, my wife, she was standing there like, look at this, would you? So yeah, Joe Diffie, sealed copy, Record Club exclusive, regular Joe. Also ended up getting, let's see, another sealed toughie, a real tough one. This is from 1990. Record Club exclusive, Columbia House, I believe, Vern Gosdin, 10 years of greatest hits. Of course, it's just got the plain white background, but this is a sealed copy. This again was like $8. Couldn't believe it. Could not believe my eyes. So glad to have that. This has so many great songs on it. If You're Gonna Do Me Wrong, Do It Right. This Ain't My First Rodeo. Today My World Slipped Away. Again, taken to #1 by George Strait. Is It Raining at Your House? I Can Tell by the Way You Dance, You're Gonna Love Me Tonight. Was It the Wine? Really good stuff. Glad to have that. Then, funny, digging through the bins and come across Laura Branigan with, of course, Gloria. You guys know that if you follow the blues or followed my channel, that was the kind of the theme song for the St. Louis Blues after January, and of course led them to the Stanley Cup. And finding these in St. Louis, impossible. Ended up finding this, $4. Stoked to find that. Super stoked to find it. Then I picked up a couple new things. You guys saw in the past couple videos how I have been getting into Chris Shiflett. So this is Chris Shiflett and the Dead Peasants. All Hat, No Cattle. So this is a bunch of cover songs, country cover songs. Some really great stuff on here. Guitar Pickin' Man, Good Time Charlie's Got the Blues, Papa Top, Skid Row from Haggard, and the Strangers, King of Fools, Are You Sure Hank Done It This Way? I have not had a chance to give this a spin, but this was $12, sealed, brand new copy. So glad to have picked this up, because I love his 2 records that I have, so I'm sure I'll be over the moon for this one. And then I picked up, this is one I hesitated on when it was released, the new Shooter Jennings album, just Shooter. The reason being is I love the early Shooter, his first, put the O back in country. Great country record, outlaw country record, like it ought to be. This is what he does best. And then he went off the rails, and he did some rock stuff, but then his last record I picked up, it was more, I don't mind the rock stuff, but it was a mixture of rock meets country meets Marilyn Manson and 9 Inch Nails, and very trippy, weird. And so I hesitated when this came out originally, but was actually reading a Rolling Stone article, and it says Shooter gets back to country. As a matter of fact, his first country album since, first straight ahead, straightforward country album since Put the O Back in Country. So I have not given this a spin yet. Like I said, I just got back last week and haven't had a chance to get any of those spun, but can't wait to throw that on the table. Then lastly, I was digging through at Waxtrax Records in Denver, Colorado. All those came from there that I just showed. I was digging through their collectibles bin and came across 2 records that I was pretty stoked to find. One, I mean, the condition of it wasn't that great, but I've been looking for an original pressing of this forever. And yes, I could easily go online and order this, but this is one of those that I've wanted to just find in the wild, and I could not believe that I found one for a decent price. So it was Graham Parsons, Grievous Angel, and Blue Cheer. I think it was either second or third album. Wasn't New and Improved. It was the other one. What was the? I can't even say it. Vincibius Eruptum. But I did not have that one, and you don't see originals out of that. You know, of course, you see the reissues all the time, but the originals, if you do see them, they're beat to hell. And the Graham Parsons, I just never see anywhere. So I ended up picking those two up, taking those up to the front counter, and they had $12 and $15 marked on them. And they asked where I got them. I told them over here in the collectibles bin. They said, well, unfortunately, they were put out by mistake. They didn't have the right price sticker on them. They were in the process of buying them, but they didn't buy them yet, and they weren't in their system, so they couldn't technically sell them. Well, I was bummed. But I did sweet talk them into taking my number. If they could, if somehow or another they could call me when they were ready, maybe they could mail order them. And lo and behold, they did. So I have to give it to, like I said, Waxtrax Records, Denver, Colorado. If you're in the area, definitely stop by. So they called, said we're able to sell you this. So there it is. Graham Parsons, Grievous Angel, ringware. Obviously, you guys that know me know that this is something that I typically wouldn't bring into the collection, but this album, I've just been wanting an original copy of this forever, and this is a first pressing. The vinyl is actually very, very nice. I played it through its VG Plus vinyl. It sounds tremendous. I first thing, as soon as I popped open in the mail, cleaned it, popped it and put it on, it sounded great. Of course, you know, Emmylou is all over this record as well. It may as well be a Graham Parsons Emmylou duet or duo album, because she is all over it. But it's such a great, phenomenal album, and I'm glad that I finally was able to add this to the collection. $6. They had 12 marked on it. I was ready to pay 12 bucks for this, and I ended up getting this for $6. Probably just because of the cover. Who knows? But either way, thank you for that. Can't believe I finally have a nice original copy of that. And then here's the Blue Cheer album I was talking about as well. This thing is beautiful, gorgeous all the way around. This is, I can't remember when I entered this into Discogs if this was a first pressing or a second pressing, but either way, a very, very early pressing of Blue Cheer. And like I said, pardon the, Vincibius Eruptum. So there you go. I ended up having a copy of New Improved, and ended up VCLTing that to Helmut Diggy. And that was one, I spun it before I got rid of it, and I was really, really stoked. I was impressed by that garage funk, fuzzy, not funk, garage fuzz sound, and really did enjoy it. So I picked this one up. Of course, this one has Summertime Blues on it as well. Their version is killer. So that, I'm glad that I finally have that in the collection. So there's everything that I picked up on my Colorado trip. Don't really have anything else new to show. Maybe I'll have some new stuff next week, but I wasn't out there to record shop. The wife was very, very kind enough to let me do that and allow me to spend a little bit of time in the record stores while we were out there. But we had a great time, and if you guys are ever in the Colorado area, make sure you check out Colorado Springs, Earth Pig Music, and this one here. What is it? Chain Reaction Records in Lakewood, or Waxtrax Records in Denver, Colorado. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I hope everybody's doing well. Have a great week. Take care. Peace.